Hello and welcome to my Positions and Practice oral presentation. My name is Nicola Mabbitt, and during this presentation I will be discussing my current photographic practice, my experiences as a photographer and my photographic influences. I will also be discussing my project portfolio for this module and planned progression within the subject of music and the visual culture of punk rock. Photography has always been an important part of my life. I have always been a creative and visual person, and when I first started using the camera, I initially began documenting family life and my surroundings. Photographs were an integral part of my youth. I knew I wanted to progress further and learn more to improve my craft. When I began my photographic education, I felt like I had discovered a whole new world, and whilst outside of college, I spent time photographing local gigs and performances, which quickly became my passion. Whilst studying my degree, I had a great interest in advertising photography, particularly in magazine print. I looked at gender roles in advertising and the influence and effect of celebrity role models in popular culture. I mainly focused on couples and the struggle for dominance and power between genders. As I progressed into my final major project, I decided to focus on the idea of metrosexuality, the combination of masculinity and desirability, and the narcissistic ideal of appearance and the projection of success and status through one's body image. All of my advertising images were shot on transparency film, my final major project being shot on medium format transparency with the Hasselblad 503 camera. I have a great passion for shooting on film, and this is something I wish to explore again during my MA. I hope to experiment using different films and techniques rather than repeating skills I have used before. I have begun experimentation with Lomography's wide format instant camera and Instax film for my portfolio project, which I will discuss further in the presentation. My current practice is mainly live show photography. My aim has always been to document the energy, passion and community at local live shows and within the punk rock DIY scene. My intention for viewers is to experience the emotion and energy that the audience feel without having actually experienced the live show. As I have progressed with digital photography, I began to experiment with panning and double exposure techniques to enhance my images and their message. More recently, I have taken images for briefs requested by bands for their album artwork. My best example of this is the work I did for the band Not Tonight and the Headaches and their album If You Were Real, You Would Do Your Own Stunts. The opportunity to take shots of bands outside of the live music scene was one I could not miss. It has really opened my eyes to the prospect of music's visual culture and the possibility of using portraits to communicate the stylings, messages, or the culture behind the band's music. My leading creative influence is the multidisciplinary artist Floria Sigismondi. An immensely talented individual with experience in photography, art, installations, music video and even feature films, she has created some of the most famous imagery for musicians in popular culture. Her work with rock artist Marilyn Manson for the Antichrist Superstar album in 1996 is when I first experienced her intense visual stylings. Often described as macabre, it is well documented that she takes inspiration from the stories of opera music, her vivid nightmares and dreams, and, as her work progressed, political opinion, life and war. I find her use of light and colour to enhance the setting and the mood of her images mesmerising. Many are like paintings and have a definite aesthetic fine art quality to them. Her use of image construction and narrative excites me, and I find myself constantly viewing her work, taking in new ideas, concepts and approaches as she progresses. She is an incredibly brave artist who seemingly shows no fear in presenting her outlandish and extravagant style, one of the qualities I believe makes her so popular within the music industry. She certainly has established a solid career within contemporary photography and filmmaking. I came across the dynamic works of Nathan Baker in early 2000 whilst a part of the UK punk and hardcore music scene. I instantly wanted to know how he shot bands with so much emotion and energy, what techniques he used, and more about him as a photographer. Sadly, there has never been much information regarding his practice available. However, that does not change the impact his images and his book Energy Unseen has had on my photographic practice. This book led me to experiment with light, motion, and reaction to sound during performances. It led me to practice shooting in low light, to get creative with panning techniques, and where I first began experimenting with double exposure techniques. I have always aspired to portray the intensity and energy of live shows as Baker did with influence, but never a direct replication. During the development of my masters, I wished to explore interdisciplinary ways of working. This is something I have already begun to explore for my project portfolio in using a lomography wide format Instax camera and the touches of handwritten lyrics around the edges of the frame. This idea came to me after discussions with my peers, making me realise how important lyrics are to me in my passion for music. Like Dwayne Michaels and his touch of writings and poetry to enhance and reinforce the story within his images, I realised that lyrics could be used to reinforce the story the musician is trying to tell, with my image displaying the personality, style and passion of the artists involved. As I have covered the live music environment extensively, I aim to keep this project off the stage as much as possible and document the impact of music and visual culture outside of shows. I would like to follow a variety of people, musicians, promoters, fans and enthusiasts, for example, to show a variety of perspectives. I would like to interview each person involved and, as the project progresses toward my final major project, I would like to take a look at family life, the home, and how the aesthetics of music and performance are visually displayed, if at all, within people's personal lives. Rather than look at the youth subculture aspect, I would like to base my images and research around people who have been fans of these genres of music for some time, and for whom these cultural movements still have a significant impact. Having read some interesting journals and articles based on the death of punk as a modern movement and the place and identity it now holds for its older generation of fans, I feel it would be interesting to capture just how these individuals retain their passion, commitment and enthusiasm. My ambition for the end of this course is to have created a body of work to produce a book, hopefully with the support of an independent or small record label. The book will be a collection of portraits and documentary-style images with quotes from interview transcripts and song lyrics. As the course progresses, I would love to explore further with mediums such as video and audio and document interviews and experiences while shooting musicians. Although I have started with the punk rock genre, I would love to branch out and gain examples from a variety of movements such as rockabilly, ska, two-tone, hardcore, teddy boys and rock and roll. As I've been exposed to such a variety of music my whole life and myself have quite an eclectic taste, it is vital I move out of my comfort zone and develop new skills to further my confidence as a photographer. I have always preferred to photograph things that occur naturally around me rather than posed or staged shots. I aim to keep this technique for the main. However, shots in the home may need to be slightly posed or constructed in order to achieve my goal. This and the medium in which I will shoot the remainder of my portfolios are yet to be decided, although I have considered, film stock permitting, the use of a Hasselblad 503 camera with a Polaroid film back to produce my next set of images. This will be something I look forward to exploring further in my research project. Many thanks for listening.